Namaste yogis, happy Friday. Welcome to Yoga LYFE. This will be a 60-minute yin yoga practice that will be quiet and slow, grounded, and supporting the back line of your body. As we start to move into winter, we want to target the energy lines that feed the kidneys and urinary bladder to keep these organs pulsing strong with fresh chi and life, and keeping us healthy, our immune system strong and resilient. So as the days become shorter and we begin to move into the season of winter, I always encourage you to mimic the seasons, take more rest, sleep longer, hibernate, and our yin yoga practice is perfect at this time of the year. So this is the type of yoga that we want to be practicing as the weather cools. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to come down to lie on our backs, and I'll invite you to come into reclining butterfly pose. So you can do this flat onto the earth, or if you're like me, you might want to elevate your feet onto a pillow or some blocks. This will work just to loosen off a little more through your hip area as you lie back, lifting the thighs away from the floor, creating some space so they can drop down and perhaps your hips can open a little more easily. As you come to lie down on your back, you can take your arms out wide, you can rest your hands onto your belly. Sometimes it can feel really nice to take the arms up into a cactus shape, just to stretch a little through the tissues of your chest and really invite this opening into your body, onto your mat, into this space of yin. Good. So settling into your first pose. This will be a slightly longer hold. So we're going to use this as our landing practice. We'll just take a little bit of time to drop into our bodies to release the day. The emotion associated with the kidneys and the bladder is fear. So our landing practice today are some words to make you feel safe. As you lie down and close your eyes, just trust. Trust that you are here now in this moment at the right time, for the right reasons. Your soles of feet together. Your knees fall out wide. Arms beside you or on your body. Maybe up overhead. And the whole back of your body nestling down into the earth. You are safe. You are supported. You are held. And take a long, slow breath into your whole body. Maybe notice the belly swell and fill with air. And exhale out completely. Just to let the weight of your bones drop to the floor. And continue to breathe into your whole body. Each breath sustains you, reminds you to thrive. Each breath serves as a reminder that all you need is right here now. Let's breathe into your body with love and with respect. This body, this life you have created, your forever home, your refuge, your personal oasis in times of need. Let's go inside to a place that feels solid, stable, unmoving. A place where you can feel at ease and protected. And take a few more breaths into this refuge. As deep into your center. And just notice as you start to slide into this winter practice, a sense of non-reactivity, observing your habits of mind, noticing when the preferences come up, your likes, dislikes, seeing if you can stay a little more neutral, curious, interested today. We'll take 5 more breaths in this place. You can slowly start to stretch your legs out in front of you. You might want to bring your arms back down beside your body if they're overhead. Use them to guide your knees back in. And just rest for a moment with the legs extended. You can land them on top of your bolster, or you might want to take yourself off props altogether. And just 5 breaths here, allowing that first pose to settle into your body, just letting yourself stay earthed, grounded, supported. And again, in this place of non-reactivity. Seeing if you can make a choice this afternoon, just to stay quite neutral, calm. Letting the practice speak for itself. Good. At the end of the week, it can feel really nice to get upside down. So that's what we're going to do. You can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. You might want to stretch your arms up overhead. You can go ahead and bend your knees. And here it might feel nice to hug knees into chest or give yourself a little roll right to left, or a windscreen wiper of knees right to left. Good. So we're going to set up for our first round of upside down, our yin inversion. Some of you will prefer sacrum on the earth, simply extending legs to sky, hands beside your body. This will be a 2-minute hold. So I want you to be able to support yourself for 2 minutes without too much wiggling, fidgeting, or movement. If this feels too tricky, you could use your bolster. You can slide it underneath the sitting bones just to give you a little lift up. And then hopefully it feels more easeful to hold the legs up in space. Some of you might prefer to move to a wall or sling your legs over a chair or couch. Good. You can bend your knees, take your feet as wide apart as you like. You might even want to add your arms to this one, dropping into dead bug, relaxing your shoulders. And as you come into the pose, it might feel nice just to take some rolls through the wrists and ankles before you settle into your stillness. And so we have 2 minutes just dangling, hanging upside down. Really beautiful way to release the week that was. Help us to let go of any incessant thoughts, patterns, worries, stress, the working week. And really drop into our body. Also releasing any stagnation of water that accumulates around your ankles. There are lots of kidney points around the ankles. So when we turn upside down, flip the legs up into space, it almost offers this reverse flow of the fluids through our body. And this can help to release anything that's caught or trapped around the lower legs. Many of us suffer bloating here, fluid retention. Allowing the energy flow from your feet, down the legs, side of leg, inside of leg, back of leg. All the way to nourish your belly and your heart. We have 30 seconds left. Hopefully it feels that there's a lightness with the legs up, nothing too heavy. It's your final few breaths. Good. You can slowly start to bend your knees, return your hands and feet to the earth, and just spread out for a moment. Take a neutral position, allow your spine to reset, and allow your body a few moments to rest and digest. You're welcome to keep the bolster under back of knees or keep your knees bent if your lower back feels tender today. Otherwise, just stretch out and let the sensations wash over you. If you think about the qualities of water, flowing, yielding, creative, soft. These are yin-like qualities. And we're entering the most yin of all the times of year, the most yin of the seasons, that is winter. Darkness, night, closer to the center. There's a healing energy in this space of winter. This opportunity to rest, to rejuvenate, to slow down. And slowly begin to reawaken your body. Just take some small movements, wiggling your fingers, your toes. Again, it might feel nice to stretch or hug knees in. Yes, beautiful big stretching going on. You guys look like pussycats. Can roll over onto one side and just gradually make your way up to a seat. Perfect. We're going to continue to nourish the back line of our body through a forward bend. You might want to add your folded blanket or a pillow to sit on just to help you so that you're not leaning so far back. This will bring a slight pelvic tilt. Good. And then you have the option for your forward fold. So option one is to take your butterfly that we did on our backs, folding forward over your two bent knees out to the side. Option two is the seated squat. And all of these poses target the same space of the body. So the inner thighs, outer hips and spine. But some of you might just prefer to play with the shape a little bit so you get the optimum stretch for your body. Option three is the wide V position with your legs. So you can choose soles of feet together, knees wide, making a diamond shape. Seated squat, folding forward like so. Or full dragonfly, folding forward. Whichever pose you can hold for 3 minutes in relative, supported, moderate sensation. I think you can also add some props in front of your body. If you prefer to have your head supported, you could add something under the chin like your bolster, or rest your head there. You can lean your elbows and rest your chin into hands. And so once you're settled into your forward bend, know that you can round your spine, you can soften your knees, you don't have to activate through the feet. So you want your feet to be floppy, ankles floppy. Disengage the muscles around your legs, your upper hips, your waist, your lower back. And just allow your body to gradually fall forward, accepting the shape. Chin can come to chest. Shoulders can slouch. We have 3 minutes together here. Just going within. And while winter is the most yin of all the seasons, our forward bends are the most yin of all the asana, all the poses, due to their introverted quality, the opportunity to really gaze inward. We are physically staring in at our own hearts, our own bellies. Maybe as you start to look in at yourself here in this way, you might notice a little bit of judgment creeping in. Maybe thoughts coming in. We're just seeing if you can cease to react. And rather just live in a place of appreciation, thankfulness, kindness, and compassion. Here, there is no inner dialogue of push and pull. No attachment or resistance. There's no effort to control. Just you, your body, your breath in the pose. The final 20 seconds. So we're going to make our way out of the pose really quietly, really slowly. Your body might feel achy and stiff as you start to walk your hands back in toward you. You can move props out of the way, off to the side. You can use your arms and hands to guide your legs back in, and everything might be achy and feeling really fragile. This is good. This is what we want. We're going to lie down to soak up the pose. So come back onto your mat. Just lying down. Our next pose will take place from here. Stretching out, take up space, and just allow your whole body to be supported by the earth. Again, if you can close your eyes, if that's comfortable. And spend some time observing the sensations that arise. Rather than locking into likes or dislikes. Notice instead what is here, what is coming up. How do I feel? Isn't that interesting? We can train ourselves, I really believe, to become less reactive, more embodied. Not to say that we always want to be this way. Sometimes we need to react. Protection, defense mechanisms. But here now, when we're safe, It's okay to just be neutral, right? Can give the thinking mind a rest. Okay, you can slowly begin to reawaken, wiggling your body back to life, little movements, twitches, shakes, moans, and sighs. We're going to set up for another round of our yin inversion. So this will again involve us lying on our backs and lifting legs up. This time you might prefer to come into more of a happy baby or a dragonfly with the legs wide. Again, you're welcome to move to a wall for support or add something underneath your sitting bones to tilt your pelvis. This time we'll be holding our inversion for 3 minutes. So please choose a pose that you can sustain for a full and long 3 minutes. This is our second round of yin inversion. Flipping upside down to shift anything that's stuck, to release tension, to move out angst, resistance, fear, and worry. To energetically and physically shift. Good. So get upside down, dangle your body, hang heavy, soften, relax your knees, relax your spine to the earth. And just see how you go being here. You have 2 minutes left. You're welcome to add arms if that helps you. Remember, you're welcome to adapt the variation if you want to feel more to the inner seams of legs. Take the legs apart, bend the knees. If you like the waterfall pose or legs up, stay with that. We're just trying to get upside down. Support your body if it's hard to be still. Maybe hold the thighs, hold the feet. Use a wall. The stillness is still a big part of this. It's harder when you're upside down to resist those urges to fidget, fix, move. Just a reminder that you don't have to wait for me to give you permission to leave the pose. You have about 30 seconds to go. But if at any time, if you need to come out, you just do that. There's no problem at all in listening to your body. In fact, it's encouraged. Slowly start to let your feet come back down to the earth. Notice the contact as your knees bend. Notice the sensations, the tingling, the heat, the cool, whatever is arising. Let yourself come to a more neutral position. Let's rebound a few moments, a few breaths again together. Allowing the pose just to absorb into our bodies. This is where the change happens right now. This is where the body flushes back with fresh chi. Water flows again into the parts of you you've restricted through the pose. Everything bursting back to life. Let's Take 5 more breaths. And perhaps noticing just how the effect of those 2 inversions has been on your body so far, maybe on your mind. Checking in to notice how you feel now. Do you have an aversion to inversions? Are they settling well into your body? Even though we have preferences for certain poses and shapes, can you see this practice as medicine? Let's slowly start to reawaken. Wiggle fingers, toes. You can give yourself time to stretch. You might want to curl and hug your body in. Give yourself a squeeze. And again, we're going to roll over gradually, coming to your favorite side and then making your way up back to a seat. So coming back to a forward fold, as I mentioned, a winter practice today. This time you're going to extend your legs out in front of you, but bend up your right knee. And I'm going to give you 3 options for how to place this right knee. We're going to fold forward, remember, over the left leg that's straight in front of you, but the right knee might impact where you feel more into your hips. So option 1 is your half butterfly, just taking the knee out to the side. Option 2 is half frog, bending the knee and taking the leg back behind you. And option 3 is a half shoelace, crossing the thigh over top and pulling your right heel kind of in toward your body as you fold forward. So you might know already which pose is the best for your body, or you might want to try something that you haven't tried before. A reminder that sitting onto a folded blanket can help. And if you like some support for your head or for your belly, use your props. So you can use a bolster to catch your chest. You can use something forward to catch your head. You could use a bolster under the front leg that's straight if you're feeling it too much in your hamstrings. So that can be a nice option as well for some bodies. And always this opportunity to experiment with the way you place your body and the props you use. Good. Going to be 3 minutes in our half butterfly or half shoelace, whichever option you've chosen. I'm going to do half froggy today. So I'll just turn side on so that you can see the position of the back leg if you wanted to take that option, and the leg can be out or can be in. As you come into your forward fold, you'll notice some tugging, pulling to the back of the straight leg that's extended in front of you. So it's a hamstring stretch. You might also get this secondary target area to the right hip. And remember, the back line of the body is what's in focus today. So as you fold forward, you might also feel some action through your spine. Just allow your head to soften, your shoulders to round. As the time ticks on, you have a minute to go. You might pull back a bit if you've come too far, or the body might invite you to go deeper, maybe moving props out of the way, head cascading closer down to the earth. Maybe you're staying just as you are. The energy line that we're targeting, urinary bladder, starts at the inner eyes, works up the forehead, goes back across the crown, enters the brain, and then runs down like parallel lines either side of your spine. There's 4 of them. Whole back line of your body, across the bottom, sitting bones, through the lumbar spine, and all the way down the backs of your legs, thigh, calf, and ends at the little toe. Understanding the energy line might help you to understand how this pose targets that space. And take 3 more breaths. You can slowly start to creep your way back out of the pose, lift yourself up, help that right leg to come back to a more neutral place. You're going to lie down. You might want to place your bolster to the left side of your body because we're going to come into a twist next. But just lie yourself back and let the spine return to that earth grounded space. Spread out and rebound the pose now. Listen for the echoes of the pose. Listen for the resonance. This is the aftershocks, the sound effects, the sensations. And as you bring your body into neutral, can you do the same with your mind? Just notice if you have thoughts that are recurring. Maybe preferences that are presenting. Irritations, emotions. Know that this is all normal. Good. You can go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. It might feel really nice to hug knees in, give yourself a squeeze, and maybe stretching out long. And then hug your right knee into chest, coming into our wind removing pose. Just stay here a moment. You can keep the left knee bent, foot on the earth, or you can stretch that leg out long. You might want to make some circles with the ankle or into the hip, or just draw the thigh bone down toward your belly. It can be a really nice way to stretch into your hip flexors. Whenever you're ready, bringing your left hand onto that knee, taking your right arm out beside you, and just rolling all the way over onto your left side. You can bring the right knee over and across to land onto your prop that you've placed there already. Or perhaps you like the sensation of the knee floating. As you come into your spinal twist, we're targeting the obliques, the front of your belly, but also your whole back line here too. Sometimes it can feel interesting to lift the right arm up above, overhead, bring it toward bicep toward ear. Other times we want to rest the top arm onto the top leg. And then just choosing how to position your head. Looking away from the bent knee or in the same direction as. Twisting to release fear, to release tension. Twisting is the pose of equanimity, of balance. Settling into the center of our being. You have about 2.5 minutes left. Notice if you're gripping your belly where worry resides, just release that. Soften your belly, let it all hang out. No need for aesthetic shapes in this practice. Just softness and ease. For the final minute of the pose, can you let your top thigh be heavy, twist a little deeper, or do you need to pull back some? Listen to your body, go deeper or stay as you are. Your final 4 breaths or so. Good. You can slowly roll out of your spinal twist and just making your way back into more of a settled resonance position, just something that's comfortable. Again, if your lower back is sore, keep knees bent. Notice the achiness of the spine. Just observing whatever comes up with curiosity and with interest. In appreciation and gratitude for this body, for this health. Your spine for all it does. You can slowly start to reawaken, wiggle fingers and toes, give yourself a little stretch or hug knees in. Whenever you're ready to move, you can start to bring yourself back to one side and just gradually make your way back to seated. I always say this practice ages us about 5 years or so. Makes us move a lot slower. Everything aches. All right, let's come into our second side of forward fold. And so this time your right leg is out straight in front of you, and what you do with your left knee is up to you. So remember that you don't have to mimic the first side exactly. You might want to take a half shoelace on this side. Perhaps it's the half butterfly or the half froggy. And just know that you can add props. So if you're in the half butterfly and your knee is really high, you can always add something to support the knee if it's raised. But then you might want to try taking the leg back just to avoid that stickiness through the left hip. And that might give you more access to the hamstring stretch. Good. So set up the pose. Remember, if something didn't go well on the first side, now is your chance to make a change. Always stay curious to the body. The right and left sides respond and react really differently to each of the poses. So you might need to prop or set them up differently. The target area remains the same. The back of your right leg, the back of your hips, your spine, and then just this bonus to the left hip. And with each breath out, just see if you can descend a little deeper down. You can continue through the practice to release fear, worry, toxicity, stagnation, resentment, your week, your day. You have a minute to go. Kindness and compassion towards yourself. This can be a healing elixir. And softening that harsh inner voice. Just give yourself a break. You can start to come out of the pose gradually. Just walk your way back up. You might want to help that left leg with the bent knee back out. Notice the achiness, the fragility, everything a little tender and sore, and know that that's normal. Good. Come to lie down onto your mat. If you used your bolster for the twist, you could just relocate it to the right side. Come to lie down. And take 5 more breaths in your rebound. can gradually start to wriggle fingers and toes. You don't need to move so much now. Bend your left knee, bring it up in toward you, give it a little squeeze. You can pull thigh into belly, knee toward armpit or shoulder. You might want to make a few circles through your ankles or your hip. Almost an effort to move, body becoming heavier, more relaxed. You can gradually begin to roll over into your spinal twist, moving onto your right side, guiding that bent left knee over and across, maybe catching onto the prop. You can take arms out wide. Don't worry if your left shoulder is floating. If it's bothering you, place something underneath it. And if the knee is floating, that can feel good too. It's recruiting a little bit of body weight to draw the stretch deeper. Noticing the sensation into your belly, the obliques, and into your spine, nourishing both. We have 3 minutes. At times, life calls us in many directions. We move through the twists and turns, but always this refuge, this safe place. We can go in. We can be still, become quiet. Listen. You're in your final minute of your twist. You can slowly roll out of the spinal twist. Just make your way back into the center of your mat. Notice the spine, she might be aching, a little tender, sore. This is normal. As you roll out of the twist, that beautiful squeeze and soak action. Just squeezed everything through the twist. And now the soaking of fresh blood, fresh chi, water, filling up all of the spaces you've created along your spine, along your vertebrae, flooding you with fresh chi. And this is the phase change. This is where we notice how the body shifts through our yoga practice. You are more than welcome to stay just as you are. If you would like an extra long Shavasana, you have 7 full minutes ahead of you. For those of you who would like one more Yin inversion, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to find that now. You can stay in the middle of the room. You can use a bolster underneath your sitting bones. You can come to a wall, lift your legs up. I like the supported inversion at the moment with the bolster on the incline. You need 2 blocks for that one, maybe 1, you could get away with it. And then you lie down and raise the legs onto the props. It's quite gentle. I could stay here for my Shavasana as well. You could set up a Stonehenge shape if you're familiar with that. Again, if you have 2 blocks, you want to place your bolster over top. Or as I mentioned, you can move to your wall, taking legs up the wall. One of the best ways to calm and neutralize your nervous system, especially at the end of the week. So drawing sitting bones against the wall and flipping yourself up. And again, you can take your legs together, apart, bent knees, or a wide straddle. You might prefer a combination of those shapes. So we're in our final 5 minutes of the practice. If you've come into the Yin inversion, know that you can release it at any time and move to a more neutral position for your Shavasana. Or you can simply stay, legs floating up, spine resting down. As you bring yourself into more of a state of relaxation, calm and ease, your nervous system takes that as a signal to take a break. To switch off. We'll drift effortlessly into our relaxation practice. This will be our final pose, our resting pose. And our Shavasana. The element of water reminds us to yield, to stay soft, to move around objects in our path, and to go with the flow. To stay in this space of openness, receptiveness, kindness, and compassion. Let's take 5 more breaths. You can gradually begin to deepen that breath. And bring some small movements back into your body. Bring her back to life gradually. Gently take your time. When you're ready, you can start to stretch, maybe lifting your arms up overhead. Lengthening long, sighing out, moaning, bending your knees, hugging into chest, squeezing, rolling, releasing. Coming over onto one side, letting head rest into arm with knees bent. And we'll meet back in a comfortable seat. You can keep your eyes closed. We'll bring hands lightly together in front of our hearts as a gesture of respect, of offering, of reverence, firstly to ourselves and then to each other. Thank you all for joining me in this sacred space. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice, this healing practice. A practice designed to release tension, to soothe you at the end of your week. Bring this feeling of calm, safety, and support. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let there be peace, and to ourselves and to each other. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.